Hi, Kinky. It's Darren Paltrowitz, the writer. Still a good time for you?
Yeah, sure.
Cool,
Where
but
where where are you?
Long Island, New York?
Ooh, Lord.
Am I getting you from Texas?
Yep.
Got it. Business as usual. Well, I wanted to, first of all, say, hey, love your work. Resurrection, excellent stuff. But I want to talk to you about the summer camp that you and Marcie have resurrected, no pun intended, right there. How long was it from going, we're going to make this happen again, to actually announcing it?
Yeah, the camp has been over for about 7 years. At least the way it was, my folks ran it for about 60. And as a boys and girls camp. We had the idea that, nothing is sadder than looking at a amusement park or a summer camp slowly going to seed,
Yeah.
and where you have all your memories there, and you don't want to change anything. But so now we've got the it's a regular interview, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, Darren? Okay. Normal interview. All right. The whole decision is whether I should wear my chicken hat or not.
You be comfortable,
I have one
man.
that a guy gave me at a show in St. Paul from this secret club. I mean, it's really mental hospital stuff. But it's a great chicken head that you put on top of your head. And it's something to see.
I can imagine. I'll ask Carrie Baker to send me a photo of that eventually. But
if he has it, yeah. It's Bob Dylan was a member. They're saying that Hank Williams was a member towards the end of his life and career. I don't know how we'd have to get a spiritual detective at work to find that one. And at any rate, so you are at Long Island.
I'm in Long Island. I'm not in the range to go to the summer camp, but I am definitely interested in the mission behind you guys being able to relaunch it. As you were just saying, nobody really wants to see a sad, dilapidated amusement park or camp or even a shopping mall. No one wants to see anything that hasn't been taken care of.
Yeah. Well, so finally, when we decided this is what we're going to do. I mean, the camp is beloved by thousands of kids over the years, and it's great to see it looking wonderful, and back in action again. And that was all done by volunteers. So we're getting a little taste of charity, what Christians call charity, and that was about 40 kids. I say kids, but they're military guys and gals who volunteered to mow everything and paint everything. And there's this guy working carpentry here, a local guy, who would not take money from us. And that's the first time I've experienced that. And I told him, well, let us at least, since you're putting all these boards in and everything else, and let us pay your expenses. He says, no way. And that's nice. I mean, it's so at any rate, we were ready to go in June, but because of the virus, and another nice thing, most people factor into camping as like a business. So if you've got 100 kids coming, you want to keep it there, even if the Black Death is killing everybody there. You want to do whatever you can do to keep the money. I mean, that's a business. That's been my experience. I'm one of the world's worst business people.
I don't know about that part.
Proud of it, yeah. So what the hell was I yapping about? The reason we do, because we just think we don't want to run a hospital. We want to run, a summer camp. And so now we're set to go this first week of June. That will be the Gold Star Camp. And the other thing is, after my people have poured over the internet, they cannot find a camp for Gold Star kids. There's some for Gold Star families. There's a few of them. But that just is a kid who's been dealt, a bad hand in life that most of us didn't get dealt, which is that one of their parents got killed in action in defending the country. And so, and then we've added now a first responder camp, which goes to children of cops and children of firefighters. That'll be in July. And we have 2 sessions for the Gold Star kids. And we'll see how all this goes. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot more out of this than they are. But I think we're going to give them a lot of fun and a lot of memories, good ones. Because we're going to the basics. We're not dealing with PTSD or shrinks or social workers or anything like psychiatrists. We're dealing strictly with having a great time with overnight hikes and cookouts and horseback riding and swimming and quartz beds and arrowheads and things like that.
And notably, you're doing this with your sister Marcie, who is a certified camp director. So it's not just a out of nowhere.
Right.
Kinky is relaunching a camp, and what does he know about camps? So have you and your sister always gotten along? I believe she's an Ivy League graduate. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, she went to Yale, and more pertinently, she's been in the State Department for a long time. And she will not tell me if she's CIA. I've asked her many times. They don't tell you. So she's probably not, but she could be. But, I mean, she's been stationed in a lot of weird places, put it that way. But she's been there a long time, too. She's a colonel in the State Department. They have rankings, too, just like... And here's one thing. I noticed that the small things like making your bed are very important to the military types. And I've always wanted more structure in my life. I don't know about you, but, I've been in the Peace Corps. Boy, the rain is pouring down now, Darren, which is wonderful. I mean, for us, it's a really big, good thing here.
Better than no rain.
That absolutely. So I forgot what the hell we were talking about. Lost the train.
Well, with Marcie traveling all over the place and the structure that you kind of created?
Yeah, all the garden spots, Liberia, Trinidad, Vietnam, Juarez, for 4 of them. There's a couple others in there, too. And anyway, she's been stationed in all of them. And so, but she has run the Echo Hill, the camp, for a number of years with my dad. So I think my parents would like this thing, and there's nothing not to like about a camp for kids. Let's say 7 through 12, I think is what we're going to be going. And I think there are, in the whole country, I'm not talking about Texas, in the whole country, I think there may be 2 of these kind of camps, and I think they do include family. They're not real, sleepaway camps. And ours is going to be a model of what it was before, which was boys and girls, and then a great staff of good, solid people, and you make some friends for life, and you're going to come back, by the way, every year as long as we have room for you, which we will make. And a lot of there's a lot of things people don't know about. I mean as far as the Trailblazer camp, the one in July, those kids, we understand that they've been bullied around in school now with all this, with being the children of cops. And so this is more out of gratitude to the cops. This is the kind of camp experience you can't get in many places, most places. And it's... I keep leaning back on a Winston Churchill quote that somebody told me they checked up on Google, and it's not Winston Churchill quote, but I believe it is a Winston Churchill quote where he says, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give.
Wow.
And I think it's a great one, whether it's Churchill or not. Churchill or Joe Biden, one of them.
Well, totally different wavelength about earning a living. Do you have any bookings for 2020 that are still kept, or is just everything on hold for you?
No, it's pretty well canceled. I was feeling bad about it because they really pulled the rug out from under us. I had a bunch of gigs in California, and I'd done one of them. And that had just been a packed house and a great crowd. And a great show, I must admit. But then they just pulled the rug out for all the other gigs. And they also would have been that good, I think. So and then I was feeling bad about it. I said, Jesus, look at all these shows that I've lost. And I talked to Dwight Yoakam, the country singer. You know who he is.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, well, Dwight was telling me, he says, listen, don't you feel bad. He said, I've lost millions on this thing. I had the best tour gigs set up that I've ever had in my life, ready to go. They pulled every single one of them. And of course, he didn't, we don't want to do it if nobody can do it if you're going to get sick and they're going to get sick and so forth. And I don't know. I think the whole thing will be over with pretty quick. And I'll be first in line to get the vaccine. That shouldn't be hard because most Americans, my theory is, they won't take a vaccine.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
High percentage is anti-vaccine.
You're probably onto something right there that a lot of people fear the uncertain. But if I look at the whole life and career of Kinky Friedman, it's all about doing what he feels is the right thing to do, even if there's a backlash to it.
Well, I guess you're right. That, and I've been, what did Orwell say? Every life examined is a failure. So you can be a huge success and not even know it. I think Churchill himself and people like John Lennon, those people were convinced that they were losers, to borrow a term. And of course they weren't. I don't know how we count a winner, somebody who inspires a lot of people, I guess. Maybe it's the amount of hammered steel that you leave on a building with your name on it. I don't think that's it, though. I don't think that's important.
I don't think it's the firing people either, but I read between the lines on that one.
Well, those are the readers I like, ones who read between the lines. And I think it was Raymond Chandler, the mystery writer, who said, nothing in literature is worth a damn except what is written between the lines.
Wow. Yeah. I never heard that one.
That's a good one, man. And I think this last record, Resurrection, a lot of it was written between the lines. And I didn't realize till it was over that virtually everybody in it has been bugled to Jesus or Moses by this time. And all the girlfriends are gone, one way or another. And all the animals that I loved are gone. I have some here. In fact, I have 6 of them here in the house. Try 6 dogs in a house.
Better you than me.
It's like the cartoon where the dog is, the guy is saying, you're a great dog to his dog, and the dog's saying, I'm a dog? Yeah. Right.
There's no shortage of excellent anecdotes from you. That's to say the very least. Can I ask you one more quick question, and then you're free, man? Okay. Even though you don't peg me as a TV guy, you've been indoors a whole lot more than anybody else. Is there a TV show or film that somebody of your intellect and wit can recommend that we should be seeing that we haven't been seeing?
Well, I always like to recommend Ice Station Zebra one Howard Hughes saw over 100 times and was convinced there's a secret messages in it. There probably were, or are. So that's one suggestion. What I'm doing is I'm reading Churchill and books about Churchill and by Churchill, and the latest being the Eric Larson book, The Splendid and the Vile, which is about the first year of Churchill's premiership in 1940, the year 1940, Battle of Britain and so forth. There is a lot of wisdom in Churchill. There's little things like the guy that came in and told him there's 2 unexploded German bombs in Hyde Park right next door, and if they go, it's going to kill thousands of people. Churchill's response to that was, "I hope the ducks won't be harmed."
Wow.
And then he did another great one, was when the bunch of members of Parliament came into his office during World War II, and they said, "We've got a project. We're going to cut funding at the universities all over England, cut it for the arts and music, and we're going to roll that money, all of that, and it's a substantial amount. We're going to put all that into the war effort." And Churchill says, "What do you think we're fighting for?"
He was just full of them, just like one Kinky Friedman.
Yeah, it does sound familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, guy. But yeah, he's a wise one. As for me, I just Judaism is important to me, but not in a conventional way.
Is it like Seinfeld?
I'm 70. Think about this. I'm 75 fucking years old. Pardon my Shakespeare. Although I read at the 77-year-old level. And I'm going deaf, which I really enjoy, because I don't have any hobbies. I don't play golf. The only 2 good balls I ever hit was when I stepped on the garden rake.
That's a good one as well.
As long as we're on golf stories, a very brief one. I was at Willie Nelson, my psychiatrist. I was at his golf course, and a woman came running up, and she said, "I've been stung by a bee." And the golf pro asked her, "Where did it sting you?" And she said, "Between the first and second holes." And the golf pro says, "Well, I can tell you right now, your stance is too wide."
I see what you did there.
So that's it. But no, I tell the audience right at the beginning that I went to the doctor. I'm a little under the weather, I went to the doctor. He said, "I got bad news for you." He said, "You've got AIDS, and you also have Alzheimer's." And I said, "Well, at least I don't have AIDS."
You keep the laughs coming. That is one thing that cannot be denied whenever Kinky Friedman's on the line.
Well, it's getting harder and harder to keep, because the songs on Resurrection are of a more serious nature. And in fact, the song "I Love You When It Rains" is one that there's a really good video of that available on YouTube, and Luck Films, which is Willie's deal. Maybe we should close with a Willie story about my psychiatrist, Willie.
Sure.
Yeah, I would just say that, oh, hell. That's all right, let's let this one go. It's a very Jewish thing not to let a phone like this, a call waiting, not to take the call, and every time it's a guy selling me Viagra from India or something like that. Plus, when you're 75 years old, if that's a real important thing. And anyway, so this is about a couple years back, and I was here at the ranch. Oh wait, let me get one thing in. I have one plug, and the plug is
sure.
Go to echohill.org. If you want to help, and by help I mean not just donations, but volunteering. You know, maybe you're one of these people that don't have time. You know, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and or such, and you don't have time to volunteer for something. But you do have some skills. If you look back over your life, you'll have some skills. You look, like my friend says, I couldn't do anything. You know, I deal with abused children, and you know, and that's about it. And but the guy doesn't really. You know, the guy made totem poles and all kinds of stuff like that with hand do it. I mean, it's just he's got skills. Everybody does. Everybody. It's not just skills. I mean, everybody. Some of us, we all bring joy to the world. You know, some by our arrival and some by our departure.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Willie. So at 3:00 in the morning, I'm watching Matlock, and this is 3 years ago, about. And Willie calls up, and he's in Hawaii. He says, "What are you doing, Kink?" I said, "I'm watching Matlock." And Willie says, "That's a sure sign of depression." He said, "Turn him off, Kinky. Turn Matlock off, and start writing, man. Start writing." So at that time, I hadn't written in 40 years a song. It's tough to be a song. You've got to be miserable. If you want to be a songwriter, step one, be miserable. Step two is pretend you're Van Gogh, and all you want to do is pay the rent. You're miserable, and you just want to pay the rent. You're not trying to, you know, sit down and paint your masterpiece of the great American novel. And that's how the great work gets done. And a lot of it's written between the lines. So I went to work. I was inspired by Willie, actually, mildly inspired there, and I wrote 12 songs in about a couple weeks, in a blaze of like Oscar Wilde with his hair on fire, and very fast. And I thought they were pretty good, so I called Willie and I said, "I've written these 12 songs," and he says, "Well, send them to me, man. I'd love to hear them." So then I said, "Hey, Willie, I've heard rumors that you're not well, you know, that you're not feeling so good. Are you okay, man?" And Willie said, "Well, you know, it's been a little up, a little down, the usual." And then he said, "By the way, Kinky, what channel is Matlock on?"
That's a good payoff right there, man.
Yeah, and that was not a joke. That was a word-for-word conversation we had about 3 years ago. And that was a very clever thing to say. I was just thinking about it. He says, what is it again now? So, this has got to be dementia that I have. But it can be kind of fun.
Well, hey, if the music is still sounding great, which it is, you're still pushing the ball forward with great causes like this. You're keeping up the friendships with Willie. I don't know how many more blessings you could have, Kinky.
Well, yeah. Well, that's very kind of you to say, Darren. And I'm looking forward to this summer, coming summer, June. And we already have people signed up for the thing. And what we could probably use are some volunteers. And anybody, of course, who wants to. And this is a nice thing. When you look at it, Churchill was not wrong. I mean, most people, they invest money or they do something they think will help them in some way financially. Will be a financial pleasure, And most people aren't able to get away, so forth, as they say. But I can't think of anything more important to get away for than to be at a fun summer camp experience with with Gold Star kids, and I think the kids are going to be great. We've done something like this. My parents did this maybe 20 years ago, Darren. My dad and my mom, Tom and Min, they set up a inner city camp along with the Texas Exchange Club. And what the camp consisted of kids, Hispanic kids, black kids, white kids, inner city and rural, but kids who had never seen a horse in person before and had never, had an experience like this. And this thing, I mean, our counselors who were regular camp counselors before that, this touched their lives forever. I mean, this was something that they have to this day not forgotten, was how that session, it's a totally charity camp. And that's what we're doing now. And there's a lot of good people out there and who may not have thought that they could be, not that you want to be a volleyball coach when you're 75 years old or anything like that. But as far as most of the other activities, we can do them. I may be the oldest water safety instructor in Texas.
But maybe the best. So
anyway, we're really looking forward to the summer, and people are contacting us, and that same site has all the links to Echo Hill Gold Star Camp. First responder camp if you're interested in that one. I think this thing's going to be big, and it's going to be fun, and we're spinning our wheels. We're ready to go, man. But I guess we have to wait a few more months at least to actually open. But we'll start as soon as we can, and we'll have more firm dates on exactly what's happening. But it will be the first week of June.
Great. I'm glad there's a concrete plan. I'm looking forward to getting this content out there next week. But thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing you back in New York as soon as it's normal to be in New York again.
Yeah, my God, that's really something. And anyway, Darren, may the Lord take a liking to you, and we will see you down the highway. Hopefully.
Looking forward. Thanks again for your time, and speak soon, Kinky. Take care.
Thank you.
Paltrocast.